Shelley Winter Show, live, local, topical, and relevant. By the way, before I get to introduce my guest, Ashley Frasca said it was glyphosate. That's the chemical I could not pronounce. But in the studio with me is, he says I have to call him Rick. I can't. I have to call him Mr. Jackson. He is the Republican candidate for governor, Rick Jackson. Welcome to the Shelley Winter Show, my friend.
Well, thank you, Mr. Winter.
Okay, I'll call you Rick. You call me Shelley.
All right, Shelley.
Fair
Thank
enough.
you very much.
Perfect. But welcome. You reminded me I was the first interview you did when you announced, and now I'm the first interview since you've gotten through the runoff.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it very much, and I remember you being a movie critic of our first video and so forth. It was very interesting, so I wanted to make you the first one again.
Well, as you knew then. I'll say it again. I was for Bert. You beat him in the runoff. You're here now. Talk to me about that runoff. Talk to me, a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, you said something about, you were loyal to Bert, and I told you that's great because I appreciate loyalty. But let me tell you why. In the projects, you don't have any assets. You don't have any money. You're struggling. The only asset you have is your friends that are loyal to you. And so loyalty has always been a high premium to me. So everybody that's been loyal to somebody else, I've always respected. Everybody I've talked to when they told me they were voting on Chris Carr or Bert or whatever, I appreciate loyalty very much. It's an extremely high value that I like, and I never criticize somebody for being loyal to somebody else.
Let me ask you that. Then let me ask a question from there. Those people, what message do you have to people like myself, the Carr voters, the Raffensperger voters, to bring them into the Rick Jackson fold?
Well, first of all, that there will be absolutely zero retribution or any harm at all from that standpoint. And I'm not saying that for political reasons to manipulate people to come on and all that. It's because it's the truth. And so, some people that don't know who I am and have been told things, I get that. And I understand, what happened. You have relationships for many years and so forth, and I think it would be unreasonable for me to think for somebody to switch and so forth. But the bottom line, give me a chance because I want to bring everybody together because it's important that we win this race in November, and it's going to take all of us.
During the campaign, you were on the air. You were in the studio with me. You said you're going to start to switch the messaging. You showed commercials with the children, the grandchildren, everything else. I want to ask just a couple questions to get to know Rick Jackson, the man, right? How did you've been married a long time? How did you and your wife meet?
Well, we met through a friend in 2003 and got married in 2005. And so, she was a professor at Georgia Tech even then. And she still is now head of the Brain Lab and
head of the
Brain Lab.
Oh, so
Georgia Tech.
She's smart. That's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
She's very smart. It's hard to keep up with her, but she's graduated 5 PhDs herself, and so she loves it. She doesn't want to retire either. So.
And so when you guys met and everything like that, you're a successful businessman, right? I imagine a guy, billionaire, successful businessman, grew a business, from the ground up, is always busy. But when you have downtime, how do you spend that downtime?
Well, first of all, I wasn't a billionaire then, and nobody even knew I was a billionaire until I knew I had to do a disclosure. So because I've never referred to myself that way, I don't actually like that reference, but it is a fact. But back then, I enjoy just, I've worked hard, but I always made time. We made time for each other, do date night, be together and so forth. In my downtime, I actually like to watch mindless action flicks.
It's me. So I could be successful too, because that's what I do.
Absolutely. And so I think it's really important. For instance, I don't work when I'm at home. And when I go on vacation, I do not take emails or anything because I think everybody needs to, disconnect and have less stress and less decisions and so forth like that.
That's my next question. I want a Rick Jackson motivational quote line, sentence, possible story. There are a bunch of us out there that work very hard. We want to be successful. And success doesn't mean monetary success. Just, for me, I want to be number one at 7 to 9 p.m. What is a story or a quote or something that you can motivate people listening now to be great?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you need to own your failures and don't be a victim. Because you can't control everybody else. You can only control yourself. You learn from your mistakes, and you get back up, and you just never give up. And to have perseverance, you're not going to meet somebody that's failed more than I have in business. I failed a lot of times, but I always got back up. And so from that standpoint, don't allow other people to tell you can't do it. I mean, when I was in the projects, it was like, you'll never be anything, low class. I was called white trash, all that kind of stuff. And so you just have to reject that. Don't ever let somebody say because of your gender or your color or where you come from, all that kind of stuff, that you can't make it. Reject it. And then I think you can be successful if you will own it. And then just never give up.
Let's pivot to policy. I appreciate that. And as God would have it, I needed to hear that in this particular moment in my career. I needed to hear that. So thank you very much for that. Healthcare. You've been in the healthcare business for many years. What is your plan in healthcare? Is it similar to Governor Kemp's? What is the Rick Jackson plan to, quote, fix healthcare in Georgia?
Right. Well, first of all, I'm really an expert in healthcare, all levels of healthcare. I know it from that standpoint. So my bottom line is I'm going to reduce the cost of healthcare. The state will have the most cost-effective commercial insurance in the country, and then I'm going to increase access into rural areas and to everybody else, because that's very important. And if you cut out a lot of the middlemen, I call them perverse incentives and so forth like that are in healthcare. If you get and then you add technology so that it's all easier for us, all of us would have availability to our own medical record. There would be less duplicative, tests and so forth like that. If you could take your bio card and give it to the next hospital and they have everything, those things will reduce the cost, and so that's what I'm going to be doing.
When you talk about middlemen, and I think you kind of talked about this the first time you were on, but can you talk about what the middlemen what that looks like to average consumers?
Well, like for instance, Trump came out with Trump RX, and the idea is, so as an example, we have an antibiotic company that we bought. We sell the one dose of antibiotics for 7 cents. You pay $1.50. There's 4 levels of interaction before you get it. Trump RX came out and said, let's just send it from the manufacturer directly to the consumer. You eliminate all that. You'll cut it by 50, 60%. So you have that all throughout healthcare from that standpoint. And then there's some insurance companies that own pharmacy benefit companies, and I think that's a conflict of interest. I think they profit shift. So if you get rid of all of those unnecessary costs, then you can really reduce the health care.
We have a hardworking, popular insurance commissioner, John King. He came out very early for you.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys would work on together?
We've had a lot of discussions on things we can do. We will work real close together because we're going to have to use him and so forth. And we're going to work close with the Trump administration. We're going to be able to get some waivers and other things to allow us to really have a robust health care system. And John King is all in. He knows. It was interesting when Brian nominated him being insurance. He was a policeman, and I was going, what is Brian thinking about? And let me tell you, in 90 days, he knew more than any insurance commissioner we've ever had.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Oh, he's all on top of it.
Yeah.
And he's
absolutely.
doing it for the right reason.
Absolutely. That's the key.
Yeah.
That is the key.
That's right.
That being said, let me throw that question to you. Why are you doing this? At this point in your life and your career and everything like that, why are you doing this?
Well, so 2007, I came to a spiritual decision for me that the blessings I had, financial blessings, that it was not my money, it was God's money. I drew the finish line in 2007 and said that I'm going to live off of what I was worth, less than what I was worth in 2007, which is 10% of what it is now. And then I committed to God to give away 100% for Kingdom Impact to help people that don't have a voice and so forth, foster care, started a lot of nonprofits and all that. So to me, this is just an extension of, I don't think I could live out the rest of my life. My purpose is Kingdom Impact, and I think when you're taking care of people, it has Kingdom Impact. If they're poor, they're homeless or whatever, or hungry. So I didn't think I could live out the rest of my life and have more impact than representing 11 million Georgians using my capabilities as a business person.
A question, and I this is probably more for your team than it is for you. That's an ad to me. Can we see that in an ad? Will we see that in an ad? Because I think that reaches across color, gender, everything.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, God didn't send Jesus to save Republicans or Democrats. He saved everybody, and that's who I care about. And so, from that standpoint, we have videos and
About
stuff
to
that
cry,
talk
man.
to
About to cry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no, we have videos and so forth that talk about this long story. Getting that message in 30 seconds or 60 seconds is hard to do. But I do have Josh Youssef interviewed me and asked me the why question, and I gave him the whole history of how I got to this point. And it's too long, but a lot of people like it.
Understood. Where I'll get it after the interview where people can find those videos. I had former Mayor Bottoms on election night.
Yeah.
She talked about running against you. Mm-hmm. What are your feelings running against former Mayor Bottoms?
Well, first of all, she's a nice lady, has a great family and so forth. I just feel like that. I think the clear choice is that. We want to extend the legacy of Brian Kemp, and having a person like myself who's been an executive that knows how to manage. Our budget is 10% of what the state's budget is right now, so we're used to doing that. So I just think I'm better fit to run the organization, and then to create. I'm going to create more jobs. I'm going to just tell you now. I'm going to create more jobs in the history because I'm very excited what I'm going to do.
Can you tell us one thing that would create jobs?
Absolutely. I'm going to invest in our agriculture. We're going to create processing centers and stuff like that for cattle and fresh fruit and vegetables and so forth. And we're going to create micro technology centers all in the rural areas where we can basically online teach people unemployed how to do cybersecurity, desktop support, all that kind of stuff. It can be done there now.
Right.
All you need is fiber.
And that's going to be a focus in rural areas. You think that's where the opportunities lay, or that's where the need is?
Well, it's certainly a need, and we need. My approach is we need to invest in our state. I'm going to still recruit people and so forth, companies, and I'm going to negotiate. I'm going to be the number one business development because CEO to CEO. If I'm talking to somebody like Elon Musk and all that, he's going to. We're going to cut a deal, and then we'll have other people implement it. So I'm going to be that. However, I think we got to create dollars that we're spending for our companies already here to help them, to help our entrepreneurs. Our minority entrepreneurs don't have access to capital. I'm going to create one of the largest funds in order to do that and show people how to be an entrepreneur and all that. We need to be the Silicon Valley of the South.
Last question. A lot of things being said. Madam former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, people talking about you won't debate her. She's asked for debates. Will you debate former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms?
Of course I'll debate her. It's from that standpoint, and I look forward to it. I think there's a clear choice and difference. She talks about some things that are, I call them bumper stickers, like we got to help healthcare and affordability and all that. I'm going to be talking about how to do that. Politicians don't talk about how to do it. The guy in New York said affordability. Everybody, well, is he going to do anything? No. Right. And so the difference is I'm a business person. And I have specific ideas on exactly how I'm going to do it. So that's going to be the difference.
How can people get in touch with the campaign?
Well, at rickjackson.com.
All right. I did this. I had Senator Ossoff on. We talked. We spoke. Did the same thing here. I was, with Bert. It's now you and Keisha Lance Bottoms, and I got to tell you, man, you almost brought me to tears. But even beyond that, I got to tell you, I'm endorsing you, the Shelley Winter Show, open door, and I wish you all the luck, any help I can give. But the Shelley Winter Show, or myself, shall I talk like I'm not me? Shelley Winter, totally, 100,000% endorse you for governor. I think you'll be a great governor.
Well, thank you very much, Shelley, and you bring me to tears now. So,
Great interview. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being the first again,
Yes, sir.
and showing how important this show is to Georgia, and showing people that doubt me sometime that how great this show can be. Thank you,
Well,
Rick Jackson.
Thank you very much.
Last
Appreciate
words
you.
before we let you go.
Look, I just love you, man. I'm telling you, and you're a good person, and I like what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you again. I'm not going to be a stranger.
Absolutely. Oh, we're having a big America 250 at Ackworth Beach this Sunday
Yeah.
the 5th.
Yeah.
Can you come?
We will try. We'll get our people there. I already had a conflict from that, but thank you for doing that. We need to be celebrating 250, and I'm glad you're doing it on your own. So
My man.
great job.
God bless you.
God
We'll be
bless
right
you.
back. Shelley Winter.